Good morning, y'all. Now embarking on my walk of shame. I actually really wanted to vlog about what it's like to be single in grad school. The experience of trying to find stability in your life through a relationship when everything else in your life is a fucking mess. When people get to grad school, they couple the fuck up rather quickly, or they come in coupled the fuck up. I think in my first few years of grad school, I so desperately wanted a partner because I was like in a really abusive relationship with the university. I just felt like a partner would help me deal with that. But what I really needed was therapy, and I'm glad that I found that out. Prior to being in grad school, I was in a pretty serious relationship. I was actually living with someone the last year of my undergraduate. We ended the relationship like as soon as I was moving to Santa Barbara. It was a 2-year relationship. I don't really regret that relationship ending like at all. I think I'm actually really happy that I had the courage to end it because I think sometimes people kind of stay in relationships for the wrong reasons. And I'm actually really happy that I didn't do that. And I think when you get to grad school, it just becomes, especially when you're in grad school in a place like Santa Barbara, because in Santa Barbara, everything is expensive. And within the context of capitalism, it's so interesting how the nuclear family really like fits with capitalism. Like if I were in a relationship right now, I would be paying way less in rent, which would fucking be amazing because, you know, COLA for all, cost of living adjustment for all. A bitch cannot afford to live here alone. Yeah, but if I had a man, double income, no kids, bitch, imagine. And you know, the summer prior to moving here, I was hoeing the fuck out. I went to Vegas like 5 times. I had a lot of sex with a lot of different people. And then I got to grad school. And when I got to grad school, everything kind of immediately shifted because your whole like life really shifts when you start a PhD program. And it might just be like a mental thing. Like it might not actually need to shift, but just it shifts. And you change, your priorities start to change. And again, you're in an abusive fucking relationship with the university. Being told that I wasn't good enough in very implicit ways. You know, it wasn't always like I was out trying to find a man. I started using like a lot of my friendships as a sort of coping mechanism for the aloneness and isolation that I felt in grad school, which also isn't healthy, right? Like it's not healthy to sort of like have friendships fill some sort of void for you. But I did, you know, like I started using my friendships for these reasons that made me feel less like I was going through this program alone. But I'm gonna like move from this dark shit and into like, you know, the coping mechanisms that you learn to develop that are kind of fun. And, you know, I have so many funny stories that come from this like really dark place from wanting to find a partner in grad school. When you got daddy issues and you're in grad school. Also, I should say, I love my father. I love him. He is very much there for me financially, super supportive. He was severely abused as a child, so he doesn't know how to emotionally express himself. I love him and I understand him. So I joke a lot about my daddy issues, but I also do have a relationship with my father. It's just a little skewed because of the severe abuse that he went through. And you know, when you got a Latino dad who is low-key like horrible, you learn how to like survive. So yeah, so I mentioned everything is abusive as fuck and you're looking for this stability, right? Looking for stability on Tinder. Like, we are not okay. Help us. You have a friend in a PhD program. Check on them. Make sure they're okay, because we're not. So yeah, I was looking for stability on these dating apps and on social media, I guess. I'm not gonna give you too many specifics about this, but if somehow he watches this, I want to say that there's a really well-known person on Twitter who resides in the Bay Area who I have a very funny story about. Actually, I feel like I shouldn't tell these stories. Like, how do people navigate this? Because I feel like low-key the people who I would talk about might watch this. Should I just say it anyway? Like, is that, like, what's the protocol? Like, you know, I'm a researcher, so I need to know, like, what the ethics are. Like, what are the ethics about telling you these stories? I don't know. Do you know? Because I don't know. And do these ethics apply to vlogging? I mean, I'm genuinely asking as a researcher. Like, do they? Because this could be, I don't know. I'm gonna tell you anyway. Okay. I really ain't shit. Chaos. That's what we do in grad school. We're just dating apps. Okay, so for those of you who came into grad school coupled up, maybe you've been in a relationship for the past few years, you haven't had to deal with the anxiety that is online dating. Let me fill you in. And I think Grindr has been around way longer than that. So shout out to queer folks who have been leading the way in messy dating. We love it. I remember when I first heard about Grindr, I was really upset. I was studying abroad in Italy, and my friend Chris, shout out Chris, he never came back. He still lives in Europe. I remember I heard about this app from him, and I was like, yo, wait, like, you have a whole app dedicated to fucking? Why can't I get on it? And I remember wanting to get on it, and he was like, yo, like, it's all men who want to fuck men. And I was like, okay, well, that sucked. After my relationship that ended, after my first year of grad school, I got on these apps, and yo, I was wild. Like, I was just out there. I definitely had sex with someone. I'm pretty sure he had a girlfriend. I'm pretty sure he took me to their house while she wasn't home, and we had sex. And I think about it now, and I'm like, oh, that's definitely what happened. I'm so sorry to that woman. I am so sorry. You know, sometimes you just fuck people who have girlfriends and you don't even know that you did it. I used to fuck with this guy who, like, I don't know, like, I think he thought we were more than what we were, and I didn't know how to communicate that we weren't. And he used to stick around my house a lot for hours when we would wake up in the morning. Like, for me, it's like, when it's time to get up, we're getting up and you're leaving. Or I'm leaving. Actually, because of this person that I've told you about that used to stay a really long time, I don't let people come over to my house anymore. I'm very, very picky about who comes over to my house now. If you don't leave, we're gonna fight. And honestly, like, if I was a healthy person at this time, then I probably would have just stopped contacting them altogether. But I wasn't a healthy person. I wasn't. And I kept contacting them. I kept just doing it. Just a lost soul with daddy issues, looking for love. In my first year, I met this guy, and he was really cool. Like, we really hit it off. Like, we would talk on the phone for hours. He was living in my hometown, and I was living here. And so I finally met him in person. My sister set us up, and I still give her shit about this because he was so trifling. He was not a good person. And if he's watching this, I hope he knows that he's not a good person. We ended up finally meeting in person. It was good. We had sex, and it was, you know, fun. I had fun. I come back to campus all in love and shit because I'm like, ugh, I finally found my person. And then he fucking ghosted me. And I was like, cool. So love doesn't exist. That's great. Great to know. I got back on the saddle. Got right back on the apps. I went on a date with another STEM guy from El Salvador. Oh my God. That date was wild. Yes, this person, I don't remember what department they were in. We did not hit it off. I didn't think we hit it off at all. But the icing on the cake. So we're talking and stuff, and I'm like, so what do you want to do, like, with your degree? This person was like, I really hate teaching. I hate teaching, and I love research, and I just feel like those who can do and those who can't teach. And I just kind of was like, and then he asked me, so what do you want to do? And I'm just like, well, I love to teach. I love people of color. I love men of color. It's my toxic trait. Trust me, women of color are fucking amazing, but there aren't a lot of single queer women of color in Santa Barbara. They all found each other and are fucking happy and wonderful. So my toxic trait, I date men, and I date men of color sometimes. I like to. Well, I see this man of color, he's a mechanic on Bumble. And I'm like, ooh, okay.
let's see how this goes. So we go on a date, on a lunch date, and it's pretty cool, you know, like he seems chill, he's pretty funny. There's probably some red flags there. I should also preface this by saying he was an Aries. So he's like, yeah, I really want to see you again. We should like have some drinks later. So we end up, it's like, yeah, I think I'm just gonna like go over to his house and fuck him. Like, we don't really need to go out for drinks. Like, that's not necessary. So I end up going over to this man's house. We end up hooking up and it's great. So then we're laying in bed and I hear a knock on his front door. And by the way, this is on the east side. So he's a local Santa Barbara person. The east side is a very Latinx like space. Like, he gets up kind of in a hurry to answer it, which I thought was strange because in my mind, I'm like, you have roommates, they could answer the door. And I stay in his room and I end up like, I guess he was gone for a while because I end up knocking the fuck out. At the time I didn't know, but it was about 45 minutes later, I hear a woman knock on his door, right? And she's asking me to let her in. She's telling me like, I know you're in there, let me in. Bitch, I'm butt naked. And I'm thinking like, okay, I'm about to fight somebody's baby mama while naked because I made poor decisions. So I end up just acting like I don't hear it because I'm like, I'm not about to fight some random person that I don't know. Like, this is a lot for me to handle right now. Like, I just wanted to have sex. Then I like ignore it, thinking she'll go away. She went around the outside to the window that was in the backyard facing into the room. And I just see her head popping in. She's like, I know you hear me, let me in. Very serious. So at that moment, I'm like, well, guess we're fighting. I don't even put clothes on. I just try to put the blanket over me and I open the door and she walks around the corner. It's a cop. It was a cop. It was a cop, like a uniform cop. So I'm just like disoriented as fuck at this point. So she starts asking me all these questions. She's like, how do you know? I don't even know what the fuck his name was. I honestly don't remember his name. Like, asked me like, how did you meet him? Like, how long have you known him? Why are you here? And I'm like, yo, we met on this app. I'm here to fuck. I don't know anything about him. I don't know anything. Honestly, I don't even know if this is his house. Like, I just don't know. So she's like, okay. And I think she believed him. She just believed that I met this man that day and fucked him. I think he told her that we had known each other. And I was just like, nope, I don't know that man. I met him today. And, like, she ends up leaving and I'm like, yo, like, where is he? And she's like, oh, like, I'm gonna let you see him in a minute. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what that means. So then she ends up leaving and I'm just sitting there and I put my clothes on. He comes back in all like, just in a rush, like, man, like, this is crazy, man. This is crazy. And grabs his wallet. And I'm like, yo, what happened? He's like, hold on. And then he leaves the room again. And I'm sitting here scared as fuck to go out because I don't know what the fuck is going on. One, I'm on the east side. Two, I don't know who rolls on the east side. Like, I don't know the area. Like, I'm not from here. So I'm like, I'm not about to go out there and have the whole fucking east side gang out there throwing, like, no. So I was like, I'm gonna wait in here. I have no backup. I did not call anyone. He ends up coming back inside and he's like, damn, that's crazy. And then this motherfucker tells me, yeah, like, my ex-girlfriend, like, I don't talk to her anymore. She's my ex. We broke up like a year ago. She was just like driving by and she like recognized my car, so she stopped and knocked on the door. And I'm like, okay. I mean, bitch, Santa Barbara is small, but for a bitch to randomly be driving by, and his house was a little hidden, like, clearly we're still fucking with each other. Clearly. And I forgot to mention, she got arrested for assault. The police arrested her for assaulting him. So, whoever this woman was, God bless her beautiful soul. And she did beat his ass. And then she went to jail. So then he comes back and he taps me on this, and I'm like, yeah, I'm good, love. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna leave. But we didn't even exchange numbers. And I'm very grateful for that. That's what it's like when you're just out here single as shit with all this chaos in your life. You just attract chaos. You attract chaos into your life when you are single in grad school. Dating in grad school.
dating in grad school. Dating in grad school. And I remember when I started going to therapy, I like told my therapist this. Maybe it wasn't when I started going, like I just gained this clarity by going. I realized that everything in my life was so unstable, like so unstable. I was in a really abusive, and still am in an abusive relationship to the university, and I just felt like shit all the time, and I just wanted like a warm embrace to come home to at any cost, apparently, because I was out here entertaining some fools, just straight up entertaining fools. We just want to be loved.